Hello, thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Sean. Today on the workbench, I have this wonderful Squire Hello Kitty Stratocaster. And I love these things. I think it's from the original run. It's an older one. Um, it's in it's in really good shape. I mean, it needs a really good setup, and little things like the strap pins are really loose and all. I don't really know everything that's right or wrong with it. We're going to find out together. Let me put you somewhere here. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Good morning. Listen to Rifle. Well, it's morning here. It's about 5:15 in the morning here in Louisville, Kentucky. And thought I'd get this done early or get it started early. But first things first, let's see if this thing even makes sound, because I don't know if it does. So that way we'll know where we start and where we'll have to. Oops, excuse me. Where we'll have to finish, right? Let me switch this. Okay. See what we have here. All right. Makes noise and it works. Now this feels really grungy, this potentiometer, so we're definitely going to clean that. I got a set of Ernie Ball regular slinky strings, 10 to 46s that the customer, it's one of my regular customers actually wants on it. So we're going to fix them up really nice, and we're going to clean this thing. I know that the frets are tarnished because they look brand new. This thing hasn't been played much at all. So we'll polish the frets, clean up the fretboard and stuff. This is a maple fretboard, so we're not going to have to hydrate it. We're just going to have to clean it. And check the tuners and all. First things first, though. Let's get these strings off. They're gross, and then we'll see where we're at with the neck. When I did notice when I brought it in that the neck was bowed, so it has way too much relief, and we'll take care of that. We'll loosen this all up, and then I'm just going to cut these strings, but I want to loosen them first. But I really like these Hello Kitty guitars. If this is the stock pickup, but if it were mine, I'd put some, I don't know, DiMarzio Super Distortion or Seymour Duncan JB in it or something. Rock the snot out of it. Although this pickup may sound fine, I don't know. Whoops, I don't even know what they put in them. I'm sure it's some type of import pickup, but these guitars are made well. Indonesia, yeah. And I have to say, I had a lot of experience with Squires. I mean, I work on a lot of them, and I've owned a lot of Squire parts throughout my life. I haven't ever owned a complete Squire guitar, but I have used a lot of Squire parts and owned a lot of parts, and the Indonesian made stuff I've always found to be really good. So I have somewhere around here, I have a Indonesian made Squire P bass neck that is just fantastic. I mean, if it didn't have frets, it would be perfect for me, but it has frets. I don't know. I probably ought to build it one day. We'll see. I have enough basses, but somebody will want one, and I'll slap one together for them. But these guitars, have gotten so popular. I don't know. I know that they came out with them again. The newest iteration, they're kind of expensive. I know that the cost for these has gone up too. Again, the quality is surprisingly good on top of it just being kind of kitschy and cool. I don't know anything about Hello Kitty as a character or cartoon. I know it's huge in Japan, but I think the guitars are neat, and I love the color pink. So I have a pink Kramer that I absolutely love. And look, this has a Hello Kitty strap too. It's a little dirty. I'm gonna try to clean it for him. All right, so let's start by checking this neck. See if we can get it. See if we can get it straight. Okay. Yeah. It needs a few tweaks. It looks to be a 4 millimeter. I mean, most import guitars are. So we'll see. We'll put you somewhere where you can see. Okay, so everything moves well. That is a good sign. And let's do about a half turn on this because it has quite a big bow. And generally, if you guys ever do this yourself, I kind of massage the back of the neck and push on it just to help it along if it hasn't been adjusted in a while. And I doubt this has probably ever been adjusted. Let's see what we got here. Oh, everything's working fine. That is nice and flat. I'm going to call that perfect. All right, let's get the fret rocker and let's see where we are with that, okay? See if we have any high frets. Again, this looks to be new, but that I promise you can definitely get a new guitar with some high frets. Especially in import, and not because they're necessarily made poorly, but because they travel far. They can kind of unseat, sprout, and you can get fret sprout from the weather changes and stuff like that. Let me check all these. I found one that's got a little bit of a rock, but there's only a rock down here, not up here, so I'm going to use this rubber mallet and tap on it, and it's probably just not seated well. And yeah, that took care of it. I never realized when I first started working on guitars, I started working on guitars out of necessity because, I was a broke musician, and I needed stuff fixed or wanted stuff modified, and so I just learned how to do it. But I never realized how handy a tool like this would be. I use this thing constantly. Okay, so I'm just cleaning it off a little bit. Again, I've been using this Dunlop 65. I love the lemon oil for the fretboards, but the cleaner is really good too, and almost out of polish. But it's been years. Like I think I used that for 2 years. But I just want to clean it up a little, and we'll do a better clean on it later. But while I have the strings off and the the neck is flat and stuff, we'll just go ahead and clean everything. I clean the fretboard. It's a maple fretboard, so there's no reason to hydrate it. It won't help it. So I just cleaned it off, and this needs a real deep cleaning, to be honest. But right now, we're not going to go too deep with it. I did get some gunk off the neck, which needed. I'm probably going to do a light sanding on the neck. God, it's a good feeling neck. I'll tell you what, I like this guitar. I want it. I like it that much. So I don't know how to read this to tell you when this was made. Or I tell you, I'll see if I can maybe look it up, and in the next video I'll tell you a little bit about it. First things first, though, it's clean enough. Tuning machines seem fine. They're all tight, so I check that. Before I do anything else, I want to tighten these. I want to tighten these strap pins. I mean, there's nothing to this, but boy, it can make it can make a big mess of your guitar if you're not paying attention. You're out playing or something, and your guitar falls off. Nothing worse than having your guitar come off your strap. We've probably all had it happen. Usually catch it, but you know, if you don't, you can get some pretty major damage. All right, that one's good. Make sure this one's good. Sometimes if these are really in bad shape, I'll have to put like you can put a toothpick in there or something like that, so that it bites if it's stripped out. With this, though, it seems to be fine. And if in the worst case scenario, I'd put a little wooden dowel in there and, you know, glue it in, and then let it dry and re-drill them. There we go. Okay, that's done. I say the next thing that we do is let's clean this potentiometer. It definitely needs it. I wouldn't mind taking a look inside here, make sure everything looks okay. It's sounded, you know, fine from what I could tell. Okay, let me find my suction pig. There he is. Yeah, there we go. It's got shielding paint. Just one little potentiometer, which I expected. But you know, again, give you a good shot there. Just because this is a small import potentiometer doesn't mean it's not going to work well. I mean, size. This is kind of funny, but size doesn't matter. I mean, some top of the line potentiometers are small. I mean, like EMGs, these small ones. Really, what that has more to do with is the taper, as far as how quickly the volume or tone moves up or down. But in this instance, you know, everything's wired nicely and it looks clean in there. I'm just going to clean this out, and I think it'll smooth it up. That's what I want. Put you in a good spot here. And this is a job for my best friend, Deoxit. And this stuff is just great. I mean, I can't say enough. All you do is there's a spot in here, an opening right where the posts are. Just squirt a little in there. It doesn't take much. And then just do this. It already feels tremendously better. It's loose, though. We'll take care of that right now. This doesn't surprise me. So let's get this. It's going to be a little hard to get off. There are all kinds of ways to get knobs off, though. I like using I have a knob puller, and there's a lot of them. But if I can, I try to use a cloth. It works really well. This is flush against the body. I'm going to have to work this in. I will though, hang on. Okay, that was difficult. I had to use some channel locks, and what I did is I wrapped a towel around this so I didn't hurt the knob, and slowly just work it up so I could get the towel underneath it, or well, it's actually, you know, just an old piece of t-shirt underneath it, and wrap that around. And then that's from the deoxit. That will evaporate in no time. Yeah, let's tighten this up. Hang on here, let me see what size that is. Okay, I've got this tight, and you want to get these really snug, but you know you don't want to torque them because you can crack the finish. So you gotta be careful. Yeah, there we go. Feels good. All right, let's put this back on. You know what? Just clean a little under here if I can. I'll put this back on. I want to try to do it in a way so we can take it off again if we need to. There we go. All right, it is what it is. Okay, so we're done with this as far as the inside goes. Go ahead and button this up. And the next thing we'll do is we'll polish the frets because they're pretty tarnished, which just happens when guitars sit. Okay, while we have it on its face, I'm going to go ahead and there's just a lot of buildup on this neck. So, and it's already very satin, but I'm going to take this sanding sponge, which I just use to different degrees, varying degrees, I should say, depending on, you know, what I want and what the person wants. But in this instance, all I'm doing is knocking off the crud. It's just, it cleans it basically. But you can definitely use this to take the finish down. This one is very fine or less. I mean, at this point, it's probably not even that. I do this on all of my bass necks and my guitar necks for the most part, though. I like that satin feel. If I have a gloss neck, that is, I'll do this. Now, with the exception of, you know, my Gibson Les Paul Studio is gloss, and it feels good. I put a little bit of the Scratch X polishing compound on that, and cleaned it with that, and it just feels great. It feels like glass. So here's a spot right there. There we go, got it. All right. Oh, that feels great. Okay. So we're doing there, and all we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and polish those frets. Like I say, they're pretty tarnished. Hang on, I'm going to get some 4/0 steel wool out. Okay. Also, why the strings are off, let me check the radius. It's probably 9.5. Could be 12. Looks like 9.5. Yeah, 9.5. So we'll use that when we set it up. And if you guys have watched the channel at all, you know the drill. I'm going to tape up the pickup. Anytime you use steel wool or any kind of filing that you do on a guitar at all, I suggest taping up your pickups or removing them, and you know, so if you're going to change them or something. But otherwise, just some painter's tape does a great job. All right, that's it for this. Let's get you in here so you can see this a little better. Okay, so these frets look brand new, which is fantastic. Again, a little piece of 4/0 steel wool. I probably don't even need this much. I use these fingerboard guards. I guess that's what they're called, fretboard guards. And it doesn't take much at all. This will clean them right up. And not only, will it look nice, man, the bends and stuff feel great. Well, that's probably it. And I mean, I don't know if you can see there, but look at the difference in those two. Fantastic. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do all these frets, and then we're going to clean the shavings up with a vacuum. Then all we got to do is string it and set it up. Okay, all polished and shiny. Just the way I like them. If you are wearing headphones, this may be a little loud. I'm going to vacuum this up. Very handy to have a vacuum like this if you're working on guitars. I want to get up any shavings that there might be, any residue from the steel wool, because it is abrasive. It could hurt the finish. And, of course, I don't want any of that going into the pickup. So, let's see here. Make sure it's all wiped off well. Man, it looks nice. All right. Take the tape off the pickup. We're done there. And again, this blue painter's tape, this is what you want. And this stuff, great. Doesn't hurt the finish. There's no residue. Easy to work with. All right, I'm going to give this a little bit of a cleaning, and we're going to put strings on it. And I kind of eyed this up a little. I'm sure I'm not right, but we'll set it up. Shouldn't take too long. The nut looks to be cut pretty well. We'll have to check that too. But otherwise, there's some crud on here. I'll try to get off. Okay, hang on. Okay, just getting the strings on. And this is a hardtail, which I like. I'm not much of a trim person, although I do have a couple trims, and they're fun. But it does string through the back, though. It's a string through, and it's a basic Strat style hardtail bridge. But I do like that, so kind of neat. But let me get the rest of these strings on, and then we'll set it up. Okay, last string here, and I would never cut these strings until you're done with the setup, in case you need to take them off again. I don't think we'll have to take them off again, but you never know. So I was kind of thinking while I was doing this, most everybody in their profession or even their hobbies, there's one thing that they hate, or that they dislike anyway, I should say. Maybe several, but there's usually one thing that's the most. Yeah, I'm retired, but I am a nurse, and I was a nurse for, I'm still a nurse, but since 1995, so 31 years or something. I was a corporate nurse for a long time. But of course, like any nurse, I worked the floor too for, quite some time. And I tell you, a big thing that nurses didn't like was trach care. Doing tracheostomy care. It never bothered me too much. What bothered me the most was dining room service, feeding people. I don't know why. So oftentimes I would trade nurses do their trach care if they would take my dining room duty. That was a trade that I can tell you most every nurse would take. But I digress on that. Being a nurse, you have to, you don't want to let your patient know that anything bothers you, that any smell bothers you, that anything that you see bothers you, and you smell some things and see some things that you don't want to. Anyway, my point there is, I don't know why lately nursing has been, I guess, reestablished to not be a profession. It is a freaking profession, and it's an important one. No matter what capacity a nurse works in, it's hard. You see things you never want to see, and you smile through it. You sacrifice yourself, sometimes your own health, to take care of others, and even sacrifice your family, because you work such long hours and you bring home such stress. Anyway, my point there is, if you have a nurse in your family, give them a big freaking hug, because they deserve it, man. They all work hard. We all work hard. Even retired, I work a little on the weekends, and I just work behind a keyboard, and it's hard. But to go back in a complete circle here, the thing that I dislike the most about working on guitars, and guitars are my happy place. I mean, I love working on guitars and playing them, and basses, of course. Strings. I hate putting strings on, and I hate taking them off. Well, unless I'm cutting them off. I don't know what it is, nothing to it, but I just don't like it. Anyway, but these are on. Let me get it tuned up, and we'll get it set up. Okay, so strings are on, is tuned up, action's very high, so we're going to take it down. And finish this setup. I don't know how far the intonation is off. I always try to kind of eye it up, because you just kind of know what things look like. But there's no way to be perfect until you plug it up, and I don't know what size strings it had on before either. But let's drop this down, and I want to check the nut as well. But first things first, I want to drop this action, and then we're going to set the radius and go from there. Now, one thing I will say about the Fender style bridges, having the individual string access to set the height is really, really nice, because some people actually like their strings different heights while they play. I mean, some people are very particular, but it takes a lot longer than a Gibson style bridge. I mean, because those are already radiused for you, which is super nice, and you just raise and lower the two posts where you want it. I mean, as far as setup goes, much quicker. One thing I will also say about the Fender bridges, as much as I do like them, the grub screws, they stick up. You can always get shorter ones, etc. But it's an issue. In this instance, it doesn't bother me. It bothers a lot of people, though. All right, so let me check this. I think we'll need to cut the nut just a little. So let's set this radius first. And then I think we're darn close here. Very close. Okay. Let's take this one down just a little. And this is not going to be where it's necessarily going to rest, because I'm going to have to cut that nut just a little bit. It's a little high. I think I'm going to lower this and we'll make sure. I believe it's factory settings on the nut. So usually they cut them a little high so that people can, again, you know, so they can make it their own. All right, I'll take that. So raise that up. So I just usually press down right around the 3rd fret. And I want there to be, you know what, that's not too bad. Little to no space. I think a couple of those could use to be cut just a little. So I'm going to get my files and just do a little bit of work on them. And then we'll, I think we're pretty close other than that. Hang tight. Let me get my files. All right, so when you're doing this, do one string at a time. And this needs almost nothing. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it is pretty close. But like I say, I do one string at a time and just do it in small increments. Make sure you get your right size file. I always have to double check, triple check. And again, small increments is the key, because I mean, you can always cut it deeper, but you know, you go too deep, you're going to be replacing the nut. You don't want to do that. You don't have to. I'm going to call that perfect. Okay, I'm going to go through and just double check all these and get them where I want them. Okay, I think I have it pretty close. Let me tune it up and we will see where we're at. Oops. All right, let me get this in tune and we'll see where we're at. Okay, we are done. It is set up. Playing nicely. All I need to do is check the intonation, see where we're at with that. And you know, the weird thing is with this pickup, I need to find a way to adjust it. I might need to take this off to adjust the pickup. Although it's not too far off. I'll look at that in a moment. Let's set the intonation. That one's on. I messed with it a little off camera and it seemed to be close. See if I got it right. Right on. All right. That's good. The only thing, that pickup is awfully close. I want to adjust the pickup, so I need to figure that out. I think I'm just going to have to take this pick guard off to do it. Because surely there's a way to adjust this pickup. So let's just pull off little Miss Kitty here. Yep. All right, there we go. A spot where you can see there. All right, so I'm just gonna lower this pickup a little. I don't like the fact that you have to take that pick guard off to adjust the pickup. That's kind of a pain, but I think we're right on right there. So, all right, I'm gonna wipe this off. Put this back on. Really, actually, while we have this off, make this a little easier. Make sure that I'm radius good. Yep. All right. I'm going to cut these strings off, and we are done. So this is a nice guitar. I like it. I'll do a playing demo here here soon and release it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please tell your friends, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Hit your notification. Rock on. Listen to Rifle every day and love one another.